The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Mindset Marketing Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry. With your host, Marie Mason.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason, and co-host, and lovely and talented co-host, Sheryl Bernstein.
Hello!
Come in here, Charlie. And then, boy, do we have an amazing show for you today.
We have a great show. But before the great show, is there a great show before the show?
Oh, there's always a great show before the show. Charles down. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm having my son going to be sitting in on our show tonight because I wanted to, because I know that everyone wanted to meet him. So, but just for a few minutes. So anyway, but before we even get into that, I just want to let you know I had a little snafu last week, and where I was mentioning that Martin Schwartz was one of our guests last week, and I thought he was a rabbi because the way he talked was a rabbi, and I you heard it. I mean,
He was not a rabbi?
No, he wasn't a rabbi. And the way he talked, it sounded like a rabbi.
He spoke like a rabbi.
That's what I'm saying. He had that kind of like persona
Sartorial
and exactly.
Wise and
yeah, exactly. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that Martin Schwartz is a co-founder and co-president of the SMZS Design Consultants. So we'll say that 20 times, which has a full service ad agency. So I just want to make sure I did that correction on there because I hate not saying the right thing to the right person. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, I like to correct myself if I need to. Yeah, I did. I want to make sure. Yeah.
Sense in the Marie Mason sensical way.
In the Marieisms way. Yeah, I get it.
It's a special Marie language.
Oh yeah, I have my own words. Yeah, Cheryl's learning pretty quick. But Sheryl, you have something really quick that you want to share. We're gonna take a couple minutes to share that.
I do.
Then we'll bring up our guest. So
yeah, I don't know if our viewers actually know what I do besides be co-host here. I am the creative muse. I help people create stuff for their business, one being video, because my background's in showbiz. I live here in LA and Hollywood, and I've been an actress and a producer and a director and all that stand-up comedy. You can see my name on the Comedy Store wall. So I help people do video, get over the fear of doing video, being really clear about who they are on video and who they're speaking to, and really help them shine, but be them. Be totally them, because that's what people want. They want you, whoever you are, however you are. You showing up as you is the best thing you can do. It's like dating. You don't want to be somebody phony, and then that person marries you, and then after you're married, you're this other person. You don't do that when you're promoting you. And if you're a coach, as the entrepreneur, you're the thing. It's your work, yes, and your process and your system, but it's you. If somebody's working with you one-on-one, very important relationship. So one of my freebies, my lead magnets, is a PDF and videos called 10 Things to Know Before You Video. And these are 10 things that you probably don't know if you're just starting out to video that you should know. And they'll help save you time and help you shine and help you look like a pro, make the process go easier. And I'd love to offer it to you if you'd like to get it. You just go to SherylBernstein.com/lightstar, LIGHTSTAR. Marie's having...
Sorry, I'm having my son distract me. And
directions for the sun. SherylBernstein.com/lightstar, and you'll get my free gift for you. It's a PDF and 10 videos to walk you through simple, short videos, but it'll really help you if you're just getting started on video. Things that you should know that make you look great. So I'd like to offer that to you, our viewers, our listeners, and that's it.
That is a fantastic, and I've had a chance to take a peek at it. I need to go and really actually download it, but yeah, it looks really fantastic. So I appreciate that gift. And just to remind everybody, it's HTTPS w for colon forward slash www.sherylbernstein.com forward slash light light star star, just to make sure the spelling is correct.
And
Hey,
it's
I actually
running.
spelled it.
You did, and it's running across. Pardon me. It's running across. It's the what do you call that? The ticker tape.
Tickers. Yep, it's a ticker
The
tape, and
ticker.
it gives us all the wonderful little feeds
I
and
love that.
our radio tech is fantastic. So
Running right this way, right down there.
yeah, she is fantastic
Right
at
down there.
viewing it in. Yep. So if
Hey,
anyone cannot see it, needs to see it, it's on. Look below the video, and when you're seeing it on the video,
and then
and
go
you go
get
to
it.
our and go to our YouTube page. Go to the YouTube page, the Marketing Mindset. It's actually Marie Mason's page, but it's really for the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show. So make sure you go there. So we'll have to have that on there too at some point.
Yeah.
But we'll do that for next week. So
You just go to
we
YouTube and go to Marketing Mindset Mastery? Is that
it's
how it's
actually under my name, Marie
under
Mason.
Marie
But
Mason? So
yeah,
go to
but
YouTube,
it's
go to Marie Mason.
yeah, and it's one of those weird obscure numbers, so it's not like a personalized one. But if you look for Marie Mason and look for, and you'll see the logos and everything, and the familiar, you'll see Marie Mason in the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show, and yeah, you'll see all of our fun stuff there. So, and you'll see Cheryl as well because she'll be on there too.
I'll be
Because
there
she,
too.
yeah, she'll be on there
My
too.
lighting is giving me this weird look. Here, I'm teaching lighting, and I don't know why the lighting looks so bizarre here today, but it
It,
does.
it's the lighting gremlins instead of the
It
internet
is.
gremlins.
Makeup!
I just blame everything that goes wrong on the gremlins. It's just easier.
It is.
So
Perfect.
anyway,
You're
we have
great.
an amazing show, and I don't want to keep our guests too long. And she's probably cracking up in the background right now at her craziness. Right, and they were saying that funny commentary that we're saying today, and that's our entertainment portion of the show. But anyway, just to let you know, I don't know if you want to bring him up or if you would like
Oh,
to
are
bring him.
we aren't we going to
We're gonna
do
bring him up first. We're gonna bring him
Oh,
up first.
okay.
So, and then
Sure.
so,
I will.
yeah, so
I love
basically
it.
so
Okay.
basically, real quick, Mark Smith specializes in speaking from his personal experience and his trials and tribulations in life. And he actually is a workforce development trainer and speaker, and his desire is to chronicle choices and share the journey. So there's all about, we all have our journeys to share, and one of the things is like kind of like storytelling in a little sense. And then he has a podcast also called The Process Outline Situations that we all go through, and offers insights on methods to weather the storms of life. How appropriate for this
Oh,
time.
we need that. We need that. Hurry up.
And so his topic
Oop, did you
is
disappear?
growth trend. And make sure you listen to our broadcast also on w4cy.com radio every Thursday at 6 p.m. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook group over at Liberty Virtual Solutions Facebook group. So, with that, I would love to bring on our guest, Mark Smith. Is he here?
Yes.
I'm here. Thank you for having me on the show
Oh,
today, Marie and Cheryl. Yes,
my
Hello.
pleasure.
the comedy was wonderful. Thank you.
Well,
He
we
thought
have to.
he thought it was comedy. It's just a normal way
Oh,
of
Yeah,
screwing up.
yeah. I don't think we screw up.
No, we don't screw up.
We don't
no.
screw up, but
We're very good.
we have fun. We have fun, and
We
that
do.
yeah, we have to have that entertainment factor in there. Yeah. So anyway, Mark and Cheryl and I have a surprise for my son who decided to vacate the premises before I brought him
Oh,
on,
yes.
and so we're gonna do it anyway because
So
I'm gonna have him.
appropriate for his age. So appropriate, right?
I know,
Like,
and
no, mom.
he's
No.
like he doesn't like being on the camera either, which is why I need him to talk to you, Cheryl. I mean.
Well, not everybody. It's not everybody's bag. So
No, it's not, and I understand that. So I'm the outgoing one, obviously, in my family. But anyway, real quickly, Mark and Cheryl and I have been cooking up a surprise for my son because he doesn't know I'm doing this. So on the count of three, would you all wish my son, who's turned 15 today. His name is Charles Mason. He is the love of my life and his servant's heart. He serves at our church every week and does a pro presenter and did lights prior to that for a year and a half. And oh my gosh, such a delightful young man. When you get to meet him, has a great sense of humor. And I'm eating into your talk, and I'm sorry, Mark. But anyway, we'll have to do a speedy one. But on the count of three, can we all wish him happy birthday? And the audience, if they want to chime in, can
Are
chime in
we
too.
speaking or singing?
We're gonna sing it. So we're
Okay.
gonna say so 1, 2, 3.
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to you. Can we pick up the pace a little?
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you. Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear
Charles.
Charles.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
You
And get that
and many
card.
more.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. I'll let you
Oh,
know. I'll let
Rebel
you know next.
Rebel even said that. That was so sweet. Thank you, Rebel. So anyway, she's our radio tech. I love her to pieces. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you so much for doing that because it's a surprise for
This
him.
is
Since we're
what
doing,
age? What age?
he turned 15 today. So
Oh, 15.
yeah, and wants to drive. I'm scared. The driving.
15 today is not the way 15 was when I was 15.
Oh,
15 today
definitely
is
not.
like 29. They're already
Going,
like no
going on
so much.
30. Well, we're already 13 minutes in the show, and we do have to get to commercial break in a short 10 minutes. So I'm going to make sure that we give the rest of this time to our guest. But
It's all for Mark.
yeah, Mark, you're on the spotlight. So the first question for you today is,
Look
what
how
are you?
great he looks. Look at
I
him.
know,
That's
awesome,
very professional.
awesome.
Thank you.
What are you passionate about the most?
Growth. Just what we're going to talk a lot about today. We, over a period of time, I think we all become stagnant. And I use the term or say a lot of time, comfort is a casualty of growth. So we definitely want to make sure that we're taking whatever we need to do into the next level. We're growing from our experiences. We're growing for everything that we see. But more importantly, we're actually doing self-assessments to understand the power of growth. You know, when we stop growing, there's nothing else left for us. So it's so instrumental to harness the situations that we come into and know that no matter what happens, it is for us to grow. And I use grow, and I always remind everybody that growth, stands for an acronym that I use quite often, and that's a gradual reminder obstacles will test hope. And we'll talk about that in a second as well.
Obstacles will test
Hope.
I'm so intrigued by the phrase you used. Comfort is the casualty of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Can we get a little into that too when we get do we have to break now, Marie? Or what? No.
We get a little bit.
What can you tell me just a tiny bit more about that phrase?
Absolutely. A lot of individuals, and myself included, because again, when I always speak, when I always write, I chronicle about myself. So I don't talk about anything else that I haven't experienced. So when I purposely or unfortunately sat back and didn't try to push myself to go to other levels, I became stagnant. And when I became stagnant, that didn't allow prosperity, not only for myself, but for my family and for anybody that truly cared about me. So by being stagnant and being comfortable, it allowed things to not progress. And that's the last thing that anybody wants to do in life is regress. We always want to progress.
I get caught between feeling like, I do believe we need to be happy where we are, even while we're growing, right? Be thankful and grateful for where you are, even while you're growing. But sometimes I get caught between, well, everything's fine. I'm happy. It's good. And then don't look at another level. Sometimes they don't even know how to find that next level.
That's a great comment, Sheryl. There's nothing wrong with being happy, but I think nobody can dispute that nothing stays the same. Nothing. No matter what you do, no matter what happens in life, we can do simplistic material things, houses, cars, those types of items. They all don't stay the same. They change over a period of time. Therefore, we need to continuously reinvent ourselves to try to find a way. I don't want to say to outdo anybody else, but to also make sure that we are continuing to push ourselves to get to the level that we're truly called to get. A lot of times we settle at a certain level, but we really need to ask ourselves, is that the level that we're desired to be? And by challenging our own growth and what's really truly desired within ourselves, that allows us to do that. So that's
Perfect.
a good question.
Yeah, that's very good. And then one of the things I notice is like cars and material items, they're like temporary happiness.
Hmm.
There's a lot more deeper happiness too that you can hit on later. But we have a question from the audience I wanted to bring in, and is why do you think people get stagnant, and how can they realize that they are in that state? I had to slow down to make sure I got it right.
That's perfect. That's a great question.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm doing a segment right now in the process, actually series 3, and it's called Where Do We Go From Here, which built off of 2 other series. And the first installment of that segment is called Your Mirror. So every day when we get up, one of the first things we do is we're going to look at ourselves in the mirror. And then from that point, we have to decide, are we truly okay with where we are? Has society put us in a box to say that we're okay? Or do we need to truly challenge ourselves again to realize that the state that we're in is not the state that we're called to be in? It's about progression. It's about moving forward to try to truly figure out where you're desired to be. I believe a lot of people say that they go through life or some people say they don't understand their purpose. When the fact of the matter is, each individual themselves, they are purpose. Nobody's the same. Everybody's different, and everybody's different for a specific reason. Is it easy to uncover that? No. That's part of growing. That's part of life. That's part of getting to levels and challenge yourself to get to sometimes uncomfortable levels. But those uncomfortable levels are just like you mentioned, Marie, they're temporary. They don't last forever.
Perfect. And Cheryl, there's another question from the audience. You want to share that one?
Oh, I didn't see the questions from the audience.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I
Why
put it
don't
in
you
our
read it
chat.
right now? You read it.
I
Oh,
put
here we are. Stagnant in a temporary happiness. She would ask this question. Can we learn from a bit of regression?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always tell every individuals, especially within the workforce development group that I train, is that nothing happens by mistake. You never fail. Even though things didn't go the way you want to and you had to take steps backwards, you learned something. And you learn something to carry you forward to matter the rest of what you do in life in your next endeavor. So yes, sometimes regression is paramount sometimes, I think, to shake us up, wake us up, get us out of that comfort zone to make sure that we are pushing forward to get to levels that we're called to get to.
How do you recognize what a next level might be? Like I'm at a place where I'm real happy. My roster's filled with clients. I do like have this little feeling like there's another something, but I don't know what it is. How do you recognize that? How do you find that? Is that prayer? Is that meditation? Is that looking at someone else and saying, "Oh, I'll try that"? How do you find
I
your
think it encompasses. I mean, interrupt. I'm sorry. It encompasses part of both of the first 2 things that you said. To me, again, it involves prayer. It means reaching out to something higher than us that we truly don't understand. Because if we understood it, then it wouldn't be for us to begin with. It's for us to continue to figure out where we should be going and enjoy that journey. See, a lot of times individuals, and myself included, we have the woe is me attitude when we go through a journey that is truly not what we thought it would be. And to continue to reach and climb and strive for the best that you can humanly possibly be, you have to assess where you are, ask for guidance and figure, is this where I'm supposed to be? If it's not where I'm supposed to be, can you push me? Again, because I'm at that stagnation stage. Can you push me so I get there? And one of the questions that it kind of circles back to one of the questions that was just asked, sometimes regression falls into that segment to get to push you to decide where you need to be.
Perfect. And I think we have one more question we can do before we go to commercial break. And then I'll bring us into the commercial break. But the question is, what made you to choose the acronyms for your podcasts?
That's a great question. I found over the years of coaching, through mentoring, through speaking, that individuals want to carry something with them when they leave, but a lot of times they don't remember everything that they heard. And a lot of times, if you use short things like acronyms, a growth, gradual reminder, obstacles will test hope, AIR, AIRR, with the extra R, accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect. These things actually stick with the individuals when I go out, or somebody goes back and says, what about the air? How was the air outside? Wait a minute. I can self reflect and think about accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect. Or no, I use the one no, which was probably one of the famous ones that I utilize a lot. And it's not N-O, it's KNOW, which is knowledge necessary to obtain wisdom.
Smart. So yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to go to commercial break, and then I'm going to have okay. Yeah, right. It is Mark. You're right. So, and if I called you by the wrong name, I apologize. I've had two shows back to back today, so it's been a little bit confusing today. So, but real quick, I just wanted to I see what you mean. So, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and I want to just thank Mark Smith for being here. He's agreed to stick around for the second half, and he's actually going to share another comment from the audience and then go back into his topic. If y'all And I cannot wait to hear more about it. I don't know about you, Cheryl, but he's doing an amazing job with
Yeah,
all this. Yeah, it's a great one, and his topic today for us is growth, transforming and triumphing over obstacles. And oh my gosh, so prevalent today. I mean, we're going to so many of them as a humanity, right? So, Cheryl, do you want to bring us into the commercial? I mean, we can actually do
I'm s-
this. So,
yes, here we are.
the,
I want to thank Mark Smith for sharing his valuable tips about process and growth. And he's sticking around. We're going to see him again for the second half of our show. And this ends this segment of our show. You are listening to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason, and your co host, Sheryl Bernstein. And we will be right back. We're going to a commercial break now.
We're taking a short break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Marketing Mindset Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry, with your host, Marie Mason. The show is brought to you by Liberty Virtual Solutions. We work with business coaches and speakers to help them market and host their webinars and upsell their coaching programs and develop heart-centered relationships with their audience. Welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show with your host, Marie Mason, a premier podcast that helps you master your marketing skills.
oh, I was just speaking up. Welcome back. Yes, Cheryl, you were doing the same thing.
I
And
like
I
that music.
Oh, it's a great music. I love it. But welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason, and co-host, lovely and talented co-host, Sheryl Bernstein. And
I just want to tag something on the end of that little bumper where it said, this show is where you learn to master your marketing, not only your marketing, but yourself.
true,
Learn to master yourself, which is what today's talk with Mark Smith is all about. I
exactly.
love this. I love this about growth.
Yes, and it's all about personal and professional growth, which is perfect. So, and I wanted to bring Mark back up if he's not already on the show. But anyway, he has a wonderful topic called growth, like you said. But he also has a background, for those who are just joining us, as a workforce development trainer and speaker. And he also is speaking from his personal experience of trials and tribulations in life, and doing a great job answering our questions from our audience, and has a desire to chronicle choices and share share the journey. And everybody has a journey. It's all, and like Mark alluded to before, it's all, everyone's journey is different, and that's so true. We're all designed a different way. And his podcast is called The Process. It outlines the situations that we all go through, and then offers insight on methods to weather the storms in life that's so prevalent now. So his topic is on growth and transforming and triumphing. So make sure we listen to here on W4CY.com every Thursday night at 6 o'clock. So welcome back, Mark. Glad to have you back. And we have a question from the audience for you.
Well, before we do the question from the audience, can I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Mark, in the intro, it said that he does this from his own personal experience. I would love to hear the story of your triumph.
It would fall within no when I say knowledge necessary to obtain wisdom. And it all came to a head when, my father passed away at a young age, 62 years old of prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things that, we had, and I talk about it, we had a strained relationship through a good portion of my life. And it took a while for me through God and through the blessing of my wife, Tasha. They helped me get through the fact of accepting that portion of my life was something that shouldn't be one that should be, I should be sad about, but I should really cherish that, because the story actually happened or unfolded is my birthday is November 19th. My father passed away on November 19th, 17 years ago.
Wow.
So it went years and years and years when I would not celebrate my birthday. I would be angry, literally angry, and angry at the wrong person. Then all of a sudden, one day it hit me and it said that, Mark, you are blessed and highly favored. This is the day that God gave you life and took your father home. So what better representation of his love and power over you to speak about his goodness and what you need to talk about and the mistakes that you made and how you redeem those mistakes, then put it down on paper, share with individuals, and let them know that there are outlets and there are people who truly, truly understand where they're going.
That is brilliant. I love it. Thank you for that.
So powerful on a live stage in front of live people.
I can see it too.
To see him in a room.
Oh, we've been talking about it. I'm one of the people that got Mark started in podcasting. He came
Absolutely.
on our show,
Absolutely.
and not long afterwards, he found an outlet to have a podcast. I was so proud of him. So
wonderful voice too. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect voice. I love that story. Thank you for sharing that, Mark.
That was awesome. No, beautifully put. And
How
we have
amazing that your dad passed on your birthday.
that is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that you bounced back from it too, in such a faith-filled way. That was really awesome.
Gradual reminder, obstacles will test hope.
There you go.
Gradual reminder that obstacles will test hope. Gradual reminder.
That's fantastic. I love his acronyms. They're so easy to remember too.
And acronyms could work too. Here's the question from the audience.
There you go.
What is the best way to start? Because sometimes you know what to do, but how is the best way to push yourself to start? That's so true. Sometimes you know what to do, but you just don't do it.
Or don't know how.
You have to believe in yourself. That's number one. That you can't accomplish anything if you don't believe in yourself. And you have to take into account that you are always going to have, some people will call them naysayers, some people will call them haters, some people will call them people who are jealous or envious. But you have to really take into account that you are responsible for you. Nobody is responsible for you but you. Nobody can truly satisfy you but you. Nobody can get your success to the level that you are comfortable with or satisfied with but you. So the first step is believing in who you are, eliminating the variables around you, and realize when you look in that mirror in the morning that I am a great person. I'm a powerful person. I can achieve anything I choose to achieve. And there's nothing that society, my mom, my dad, my wife, my dog, nothing that they can say to me that can take me off of my game. And once you have that and you put it in action, and you do it on a consistent basis, then that's how you start. That's how you put yourself together, and trust and believe that's how you finish.
No, I agree. Because one of the things I always tell my son is that he's responsible for his own actions, attitudes, beliefs, and values, and reactions. Because we can react to things, but and people. I don't know if you hear this excuse, either one of you, but or find this to be true. But sometimes people will sit there and say, well, it's not my fault when they react to things. But here's the thing: you are in control of how you react to things. But
Hmm.
you have to learn to have the right outlet for that, and not everybody has a right outlet for that. If that
Hmm.
makes sense, I don't know if anyone can relate to that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I heavy emphasize something, and my wife hits me with it quite a bit. I have a saying that I say to my group that I firmly believe, and that's words lie, actions lie, but consistency doesn't lie. So at the end of the day, I can talk about doing walking 5 miles. I can get up and get dressed and actually go outside, and I could jog 5 miles. But I'll never reach the desired goal unless I make what I do on a consistent basis. And most of the time, we're always going to be remembered of the consistent efforts, the consistent deeds that we do. So I emphasize that with the group that I teach with, and it works. I don't say anything that I'm not willing to apply and don't apply in my own life. Do I fall short? Absolutely. I'm human. I'm a work in progress. But yet and still, I'm going to get up every single day. I'm going to look at that in the mirror. I'm going to forgive everybody who I felt that did me wrong, and I'm going to step out there to know that I'm going to push myself to be the best Mark that Mark can be.
that's a fantastic.
You just answered my next question. I was going to say, can you tell me 3 things to do that will set me up for success? And you just said, look in the mirror, uh, forgive everybody that you ever thought did you how did you say that? Forgive everybody
that you felt did you wrong.
that you felt.
Which was, again, I use a term all the time. We get in our own feelings. So just
Yeah.
forgive that, let that go, push that out the way. So now I have a clean mind. I've got a clean heart. I'm ready to go. And when it's go time, it's go time. So
And he
Get out
does.
and be the best,
that you can be.
fill in your name here that you can be. And
Mhm.
I also want to back to when you said there'll always be naysayers who tell you don't, can't, you shouldn't. Sometimes those naysayers are you, your own head.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
those are
Good point.
the hardest ones to get over sometimes.
Mhm.
And that might be what our caller, our listener, our viewer was asking, how to push aside those.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you do need to just believe in yourself and just, like you said, look in the mirror, forgive everybody, go.
Mhm, mhm. And then our habits, what we do on a consistent basis, are key. And I often talk about the habit poem, which is something that I read every single day. And it's got a section inside the habit poem that says, "I'm your greatest helper or your heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I'm completely at your command." What
Yerk,
what does that say to us?
what's
That's it. I'm sorry.
what's a yerkame?
I am completely at your command.
Oh, wait, your command.
Nah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
he tricked you there,
Uh-huh.
Cheryl.
Listen, Cheryl. Good job.
Your command. I
It was
thought
a joke. It was a joke grenade. We'll get it later.
Mhm.
that habit poem. What is that? I'm not familiar with the habit.
It's actually a poem that was written. It's written by an unknown artist, and it's actually out there. But it's something that basically chronicles that we are, as you talked about, we are truly in control of what we think and our actions and the things that go on in our life. And if we have the choice, we can say woe is me and harness on that, or we can get up and run like a fine-tooth machine, knowing that there's something that we're shooting for, and at the end of the day we're going to give it everything we got to get there, and we'll know that we won the race, because we worked extremely hard to get to where we need to go.
Fantastic. So, do have another question for you, and then Cheryl, you can tag the next one. But you've completed 2 episodes of the process so far, right?
Mhm.
And oh my gosh, I've listened to some of Cheryl. If you haven't listened to this, he had one on the perfect storm that was absolutely fantastic. So I
Mhm.
definitely encourage the audience to listen to that as well. And what drove you to choose those titles for in their meetings for the podcast, like for the ones about the process and
Mhm.
one's for the perfect storm?
The original one, the process, the foundation was built on the fact of going back and revisiting everything in my life from childhood through little league sports, through high school sports, to interacting at your first job, to everything that you utilize. And a parallel to building a house. When a person decides that they are ready to build a house, the first thing that they do is they get the pre-approval. So basically the pre-approval is agreeing that you want to change your life. You're agreeing that you want to do some things to happen. The second step is actually finding the financing. So you're putting forth, or you have that confidence that that is something that you're going to do. Then it becomes the construction, building yourself from inside out. Then the second one, the perfect storm. I have to give the credit to Tasha, my wife. We were sitting down. This was before the pandemic. We were sitting down one day, and I had kind of got a block, and I had said, "I'm ready to start preparing for season 2, excuse me, or part 2." I said, "But I don't know where I should go." She said, "Well, look around you. What is this right now?" I said, we're getting ready to be closed down. It's the pandemic." She said, "Is it?" And then I paused for a minute. She said, "Or is this the perfect storm?"
Wow.
And then I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, "You're right. This is the perfect storm. This is the time to where we can do so." The excuse that we don't have enough time, that's out the door. Because that's all we have is time. So it's a time for reflection. It's a time to put away that cell phone. It's a time to go back to the basics and spend time with your kids, spend time with your family, have family dinners, to have a conversation versus a text message. Build around what we are, where we are, and what we need to do. And more importantly, take your own self assessment. Are you where you want to be? What are you going to do now since you have the time to change it? So those have been the reasons or the methods behind the madness of the other two. And I just launched January 2nd, season 3. Where do we go from here? So each of
And,
them build off of each other.
yep. And Cheryl, I was just trying to message you earlier, but he's actually putting some of this into a book, right?
Oh, great.
One day, I'm getting it together. But it's going to be a total of 12 episodes of the process. So I have them all pretty much picked out, but the last 2, which would be the conclusion. But it's as it manifests inside me, as I look in that mirror, it's going to come to fruition.
That's awesome. So, do you want to ask the next question, Cheryl?
I do. You touched on a couple things that you would suggest to us to do. What are your 5 daily habits that really set you up for growth and success in your day?
Um, well, the first thing that I do, of course, when I wake up, is I read that habit poem. It's always wise for me to go back and reflect and start my day the way it should be started, which is I'm in control of it. I harness it, I own it, and I'm accountable for Mark. Mark's accountable for Mark, but also Mark knows his decision affects his wife, his family, everybody else. The second thing I do is I go downstairs and I have about 35 to 40 minutes of quiet time. It's just reflecting, thinking about yesterday, thinking about opportunities that I we talked about. We utilize the acronym as well. POUR, passing over opportunity repeatedly.
That's
Oh,
cool.
So we go back and think about, what did I do yesterday? Then I'm an avid gym rat, so I'm fortunate, blessed enough to have a gym inside my home. So I'll go and work out. Then I'll come back upstairs, have a conversation. My wife and I will sit down and talk about our day. What do we both have on tap of the day? How can we best assist each other as the day goes on? And then the last thing that I do, again, which is the most important thing, is I ask God to protect me, protect my family, protect my friends, protect everybody that I know that I've had a conversation with in my lifetime. I can't call them all by individual names, but protect them. Watch over them today and give them that wisdom, give them that desire, give them that fire and that drive to help them get to where they want to go. And that starts the mentality or the mindset to log on to Zoom, go to work, and be an effective communicator with the young men and young women that I come across every day.
Amazing. Yeah.
I love that. You know, your books, well, you've probably got one book set up, but each chapter could be one of your acronyms.
It very well could. It very well could.
So good.
Mark knows that he can always brainstorm with me anytime. He's got access to my brain because
Poor, and there was one more, wasn't it? Growth, poor, and was there one?
Poor. Was there another one?
Growth, air.
What's it?
With an extra R, AIRR, accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect.
That's so cool. And I love the way he thinks. This is why I have him on my show, because he's just so amazing. So anyway, there's 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to actually end the show. Oh my gosh, it's almost like 8 minutes to go. I'm like shocked. So it goes by fast, doesn't it, Sheryl? I know Mark was on here before, and this was before we were just doing the radio, and it went by fast even then too.
Mhm.
So but the next question I have is one from his topic, and then one from the audience, and that is storytelling is very important, as we just talked about, and we were also as you indicated earlier, when you close your messages, how do you come up with those acronyms? I think was that what you meant?
Mhm.
And then and I think we talked about it a little bit, but then you have another part to that which we need to talk about, and it is, do you have one that speaks to you more than others? Since we've already talked about the acronym ones, and I think you've already talked about how you came up with them, right?
Mhm.
So let's just touch on about the other half of it, which is, which one speaks to you more than others? What's your favorite acronym?
I would think, well, not so much the acronym. I would say probably the most the favorite story that ties everything together. And let me back up. I use stories to kind of bridge the gap of my message for the day. So I always want to tie something in to basically break it down another level to make sure everybody gets it. And it's a reference point for them to go back and make sure that they're okay with it. But the initial episode of The Perfect Storm, there was a story that hit me, and it pretty much brought me to tears the first time that I read it. So that would be the one that, again, it was about a young man, a father and a daughter. So I'm going to kind of read it to you for a second. It said there's a father and a daughter who were together. They were actually coming home from a revival one night. And after the father let the little girl drive home, she was his assistant, so to speak. So she finally got to take the wheel. And while they were driving home, a bad storm broke out, and the daughter, being a brand new driver, as you'd imagine, got a bit scared. She kind of freaked out a little bit. So she looked over at the young girl looked over at her father and said, "Daddy, should I pull over?" And he looked at her calmly and said, "No, baby, just keep driving." So the young girl kept driving, but the storm got even worse. So she looked over again at her father because she was petrified. She said, "Daddy, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want me to pull over?" Her father said, no, baby, just keep driving." But the storm continued to intensify. It got so bad that the daughter could barely see an inch from her face, and other cars started pulling over in the storm. Even the 18-wheeler started to pull over in the storm. She looked over, petrified again, tears coming down her eye, and she looked at her father, and her father just looked back at her. Before she could say anything, he said, "Just keep driving, baby." And then eventually they made it through the storm. And after they made it on the other side of the storm, the father looked at her and said, "Okay, baby, pull over now." So the young girl pulled over the car. And she had a grin on her face, and she looked at her dad. She said, "Okay, Daddy, I know why you wanted me to pull over. I know now." He said, "Why, baby?" She said, "You want me to thank God for bringing us through the storm." He smiled back and said, "Yeah, baby, that's it. But more importantly, there's another lesson you got to learn here." And she said, "What?" What is it, Daddy? I don't understand. He said, do me a favor. Get out the car and I'll show you. So they got out the car. He said, baby, turn around and look back. Tell me what you see. She said, I see the storm. He said, no, baby, that's not all you see. Tell me what you see. She was perplexed. She said, Daddy, I don't get it. He said, baby, where are all the cars that pulled over? Where's the 18-wheeler that pulled over? She said, they're still in the storm. He said, that's it, baby. That's the lesson I want you to learn. See, when you pull over, you make your storm last longer. But if you just keep going, keep moving ahead, and keep believing that it's possible, and keep your hope and keep your faith, you will always make it through your storm. We have problems. We don't have problems. We have situations. So keep pushing.
That's so beautiful. I love it. Okay, we have one more question from the audience, and then we're going to I know. You'll be okay, Sheryl. We're all here. We love you.
Stellar you are.
Yeah, we love you.
Thank you, Mark.
That was so pretty. And so the one question from the audience is, how do you work with yourself to maintain what you achieved and exceed that? Does that make sense? It was from the audience.
I use the adage, hungry but humble.
Mm-hmm.
Hungry but humble. And that means that I know for me to be the best Mark that Mark can be, Mark has to be a sponge. I have to call you, Marie. I had to call you, Sheryl. I got to call other individuals who are being in the industry and making impacts. I got to reach out to my mentors. I have two gentlemen who I talk to in Alabama consistently who are speakers. I got to continue to read. I got to continue to soak it all in to make sure that I can, again, be the best that I can be. And I have a personal mission. And I say it all the time when I talk to my group. My goal is to change 100,000 lives. How you do that? You change one life. One life changes two lives. Two lives changes four lives. Four lives changes 8 lives. You break the generational curse. You give people hope and desire and the passion to know that it's not over. It's not over. What you're going through is temporary, and you will. Trust and believe you will get through it if you believe that you can, and you will get through it. And I always say, your why is greater than your situation, which is part of your process.
Exactly. That's right on point. So anyway, I'm going to
quoted far and wide.
Yes, we got 2 more minutes left to wrap up. I want and Mark always has amazing gifts to share with our audience. And what is your gift for this time for coming?
Well, I would like individuals to let me give you my email address. It's
Sure.
withinyourprocess@gmail.com. I'm sorry.
Working your process?
Within your process at gmail.com. I'd like for individuals just to reach out to me. I'd like to have an opportunity to talk with them. And then I have certain things, cups, T-shirts, things of that magnitude that I'm anxious to get out to people, to let them know, again, when they sit down and look at their day and plan their day, then they have things that are going to be successful for them. I'm also putting together at this point some of the acronyms on cups. And then so they can take and read the acronym on one side, read the meaning of it on the other side. So they have that daily visual. We're visuals. We're truly visual individuals. So they have that visual of exactly what they need to do.
That's fantastic. No, I love it. And definitely get those mugs and various different items that he's selling because, oh my gosh, they look so cool. I've had a chance to peek at them and they're fantastic. So, and within your process is on our ticker. So if you see it below the video, please make sure you go to his website, is it? And check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they want to join your group, is it through the email? They'll find out about it.
They can actually go right to my email as well, and go to my website. They can go send me a message. I'll get right back to them. And again, just love to. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, again, 100,000 lives. I am here. I'm here to be able to answer questions, lift everybody the best that I can, and hopefully, I will learn from you as well.
Yeah, it's always reciprocal. Always, we all learn from each other. It's always my belief. I really want to thank Mark Smith for sharing his valuable tips on how to grow our sales and our business on the Marketing Mindset Mastery radio show tonight. Oh my gosh, his topic about growth, transforming, and triumphing was absolutely out of this world and amazing. And I love his acronyms. So anyway, you have such always a knowledgeable information to share. Please take advantage of his offer. Going to withinyourprocess.com. He has great mugs and various other items for sale that actually has his acronyms on there, which has the word and what the meaning is behind it, which is a brilliant thing. And access to his podcast too. I'm sure he can also, and you can message him and email him as well. And please get a chance to talk to him. Mark and I developed a good friendship over the last few months too. So please reach out to him and he can help you move along faster. So you can also grab all the links on our radio station page, which I promise I am going to update. And then you will be glad to take advantage of all his gifts and all of his knowledge. So also go to our YouTube page. Please subscribe to there, and our Facebook page. All of the replays will be there as well. So if I want Sheryl to go ahead and close us out.
Okay. Do catch us on our radio station, W4CY.com, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to have 2 more guest speakers on our next week's show. They'll be providing more tips on how to set up your business and you for success. I want to thank Mark Smith. It's been a fabulous conversation. And this ends this segment of our show. Until next time, this is Sheryl Bernstein with your host, Marie Mason of Marketing Mindset Mastery. We'll see
Thank you, everyone. Stick around for the Flea on the show.
Go to our radio page and check out the gifts from our speakers. We'll see you next time on Marketing Mindset Mastery with your host, Marie Mason.